Everdark bosses in Night Rain have been absolutely cinema, and especially the recently released Gladius is probably my favorite or second favorite Everdark they have added. These bosses are all very unique, cool, and just an awesome addition to From Software's boss catalog. And everything was going just perfectly. However, then From Software decided to give an Everdark to my favorite boss in Night Rain, Libra. And I wish I could just praise Libra easily and say this is just another awesome Everdark boss, but Everdark Libra is genuinely the most bizarre and weird boss From Software has ever released. I just have genuinely no idea how to even rate this boss. He is amazing, awful, interesting, kinda lame, pretty creative, but also completely stupid. I just have no idea how to even get a grasp of this boss, and in this video I want to talk about what I really like about this boss, what I really dislike about this boss, and how to possibly improve him. If you enjoy this kind of content, please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel massively, and without further ado, let's jump into the video. So, let's start with the question, what is Everdark Libra? Everdark Libra is the super boss and the enhanced version of the base game boss Libra, and he is a pretty interesting boss in concept. Libra is a creature all about balance. Basically at the start of a fight you can take a deal that is kind of a false blessing and always has a downside to a positive. And in this Everdark version, Libra basically forces these deals onto you. And this is a very awesome idea. This is by far my favorite aspect about this Everdark boss, and the forced curses are really cool. There are some really cool ones, like the ones that obscure the players, all half your health. Then there are some that are like really cool in concept, like the massive wall of light. However, that one unfortunately doesn't really do well functionally. And then there is the one thing that unfortunately kind of breaks this boss for me, and that's him summoning NPC invaders. Yeah, From Software definitely has a history of making a lot of pretty bad NPC bosses, and while NPCs sometimes rarely work, most of the time they are rather annoying. And unfortunately, this is also true with Night Rain. However, let's first start with the things I really like in the Everdark Libra. I really like the idea and the concept of this boss. I appreciate From Software being bold and taking leaps of faith, trying out something vastly different and risky, and not just always playing it safe. I appreciate that a lot, and that just once again shows why these guys are the pioneers and creating the new stuff. It's awesome. I also, as I mentioned, really love these false blessings and Libra putting you through curses. It's really cool and just makes you question this guy's character, because he really isn't as fair as he claims to be. On the other side, I also kind of appreciate the idea trying to make a fight with NPCs work, and I love that they lean into some memes like giving Revenant colossal weapons because of the Revenant memes. They clearly put a lot of love into this. However, now let's talk about the things I dislike. And it's really just, once again, the NPC invaders. In solo, it's kind of fine. They die quickly and it's not a lot of them. And in duos, it's also manageable, though you sometimes, depending on what weapons the Nightfarers get, can get some really insane combos. Like, this is just very annoying. But most of the time in those two modes, it's fine. However, in trios, this is genuinely one of the worst encounters I have ever seen. I will never forget being chased by like 6 NPCs at once, and it's just nightmare fuel. Definitely one of the most disturbing things I've seen in a FromSoft game, and not in a good way. Overall, the fight still manages to feel chaotic and dangerous and unhinged, however, unfortunately not in the way I would love it. So now I want to suggest some changes that maybe could improve the Everdark Libra encounter. First, I want to start with things that just require a little stat tweaking, nothing too crazy, so you can change it rather easily. Number 1, nerf the NPC's health. Number 2, nerf the NPC's spawn rate. Number 3, the NPC weapon pools, either rework them or just let the Nightfarers start with their basic equipment. That could be fine, because 4 wilder NPCs spamming you with great bows is not the ideal way NPCs should be used. Now to fix it would require a bit more work. 1, make the NPCs being able to hit by Libra spells. This could create some cool strategies where you lure the NPCs into the madness geysers and stuff like that, and you proc madness on them and they die. This could add some nice crowd control, and I would really like that, definitely way more than it is now. Or if you really want to go all out, maybe completely rework the NPCs in general. Of course, I need to mention these all are not like my ideas. These are just some ideas I got from discussing this boss online with other Night Rain players. However, now I want to come to a fundamental rework that I came up with, basically leaning into the part of the fight I really love. I personally don't really want to fully remove the NPCs, because now that they are really part of the fight, I kind of want to preserve them, but I think they need to be way rarer overall. And instead, I want Libra to lean more into the curse side of the things. So I conceptually just made 4 curses. That would be cool. A demon summons the pack would be an idea that Libra summons like, I don't know, 20-30 rolling goats where you need to position yourself to not get hit by them. It's an attack that is used by a boss in Black Myth Wukong, and I think it would fit just perfectly fine. Seeing Madness Goats roll would be really hilarious and cool. A demon creates a maze is basically my rework of the 4 separating cross wall thingy. Basically, it creates like a maze type thingy where you need to avoid Libra's floor AoEs and his moveset without touching the walls. If you touch the walls, you will get some madness buildup and some light damage, for example. I think it would recontextualize this in a more interesting way instead of just making Libra stand around in it passively like it is right now. Then, onto my favorite one, a demon shifts fate. In this one, Libra would, for 3 players, would switch all your characters. So for example, you're playing with a Revenant, Guardian and Wilder, and suddenly the Revenant becomes the Guardian with the exact items, flasks, whatever the Guardian has onto him, and now the Revenant player needs to manage the Guardian's loadout, because once this curse is over and they switch back, everything they consumed will be consumed. I think this would be an insanely interesting gimmick, and for duos it just swaps the 2 players, and for solo it gives you a random loadout of a different Nightfarer, but keeps the flasks and items the way they are, so you still have some stakes and can lose them. I really like this idea, and I think stuff like this would be way cooler than spamming NPCs. And my final one, which is probably my least favorite here, a demon casts a dice. This is a thing where he summons a Libra merchant somewhere and you need to pay him with like an item or a weapon, so this curse goes away. You're not even sure what curse it would be. But what I really want to say is, I think him leaning into these false blessing and curses is way more interesting than the NPC spam. So, Everdark Libra, what do we think? Honestly, I don't really have an idea. Trio is one of the worst bosses they have ever made and a solid F tier. Honestly, this is just not good. The only reason I can see like a low E or somewhere high F is because some of the moments are genuinely just hilarious. They made me smile and giggle a lot, but I can't really in good faith say this is like an acceptable encounter. It's very bad. Duos I found really fun. Maybe I just got good RNG, but I found duos NPCs pretty manageable, and overall the fight still felt super intense and hard, but not like bullshit annoying hard. So I liked it. And solo is pretty neat. I think solo is just fine, but unfortunately solo loses a lot of the crazy chaos, which is a big shame, and that is only unique to multiplayer. And I have to say, trios is by far my preferred mode in Night Rain, so not being able to play this boss trios properly is definitely a big dot in it. Overall, I think this boss is like a low A or high B for me at the end of the day. It is pretty good, some of the ideas are cool, and I got a decent amount of fun out of him, but I think this boss needs a severe improvement patch, and I think they definitely can do something, considering they even patched Maris, even though I don't think that boss was needed. So yeah, Everdark Libra, definitely appreciated idea, but I think this boss definitely needs a change. This is my final video before I depart on vacation, so thank you for watching, and if you like it, once again, thank you so much for the support, and I hope I will see you here next time. Until then, bye!